What's going on, everybody? Nick Constantinides here. I am the founder of BuzzLead. We're a performance-based B2B lead generation agency specializing in omni-channel marketing. So that's cold email marketing as well as LinkedIn outreach. And I'm excited to be sitting here with James Awatspo today. He's the founder of Strat-Media, and we're doing a client case study interview, just telling you a little bit about James's experience working with us. We've partnered together. It's been a little bit under 2 months so far since I started helping him out with lead generation, primarily working with cold email. James, thanks so much for joining us today. Before we jump into everything, do you mind just first telling us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do over at Strat-Media?
Yeah, definitely. So basically, Strat-Media, like we do both short form and long form content creation. Short form being TikToks, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and long form content being YouTube videos. And we service that to, it's mainly like B2B. So it's to agency owners, coaches, and course creators. And what we do is we pretty much just help these business owners just make content that speaks directly to their target audience, their ideal customer profile, and we help them build their presence online, build that digital real estate, and eventually turn those followers and viewers into inbounded leads, help our clients book more sales meetings, and eventually close more clients. And then so we do that, and it's mainly just through video content itself, but we are currently just working on other ways to tie in other mediums to that.
Very cool. And
And
for
then
anybody,
and just to let you know too, also like just based on our pricing structure too, usually do it by commitment. So like 3 month commitments. And then just that way, like we're given enough time to really just like build that presence online because it does take time.
Mhm. And for anybody out there that is looking to build their personal brand, I would highly recommend working with James. He does a phenomenal job. I've seen some of his work with other clients, and definitely killer with all the editing, just giving you structure. But James, what was your lead generation strategy like? Prior to working with BuzzLead in terms of outbound marketing, cold email, volume of meetings that you've been able to book. You mind just telling us a little bit about what your success looked like there, or if you didn't have success, just so everybody can kind of see where we were prior to 2 months ago?
Yeah, definitely. And honestly, like being completely blunt, like my lead generation strategy was just like a complete disaster just because I was doing a little bit of cold emailing, but like I knew like little to nothing about it just in terms of the scripting, learning how to properly do follow-ups, doing campaigns, doing sequences, and just sort of like building out lists. Like I understand what everything does. I just didn't know how to do it for myself though, and especially like tie in with my offer. So I was doing a lot of cold emails, and I tried to set up one or two campaigns, and but I was just my reply rate was just terrible. It was I think it was under like two, maybe 1%, and now it's at like around like 5 to 10%, maybe, or it might even be higher than that. I'm not exactly sure. Like I still don't know a whole lot about cold emailing and cold outreach. But yeah, so just it wasn't very good because my biggest problem was that aside from not understanding how to properly script and follow up with the leads, I just didn't know how to properly handle responses as well as build out lists. So I didn't know like who to target, even though there's all these platforms that you use like Apollo and ListKit, and I just didn't understand though how to actually find my ideal customer. Just because the people, when I would try to set up these campaigns on my own, I was sending out, for example, like I said, one of my target clients is agency owners, and I just didn't know how to properly find agency owners, and it was just a nightmare just because.
Mhm.
And main reasons I didn't have that high volume of cold emails was simply just due to the fact that I just didn't know like how to find these individuals. And I didn't want to just like go through Google and find like
Right.
each single person. Or when I would try to do Apollo, most of the emails bounced. So it was just horrible. And then like I just wasn't booking any meetings. That was my biggest problem too, is that like I feel like I'm good enough at sales to where if I get someone on a sales call, I can really convey the benefits of my service, that being, like my short form, long form content to
Mhm.
that individual. But my problem was I couldn't even get them on the actual sales call. So it's like I wasn't even like given a chance to properly pitch my service. And so it just seemed like I wasn't even like in consideration to begin with.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And I think a lot of people, they deal with those same challenges. Like if you're not constantly doing cold email, it can be a little mind-boggling just between the building the list, the tech setup, managing inboxes. It really is very cumbersome. So I guess like, looking at these past 2 months and working together, like what kind of like ROI, return on investment, have you received so far, in this short period of time as a result of partnering with BuzzLead?
Yeah. So like I said previously, so I work based on 3 month commitments and I get paid month, or my agency gets paid month to month. And then so I was actually able to add 4.5K in monthly recurring revenue, 3K coming from a client like that was completely cold from you guys. And then 1.5, that being you guys nurturing that prospect that showed interest in the past, but I never was able to close. But you guys helped me just add him back into a campaign and just really just nurture him from the beginning, and ended up he was somewhat of a warm lead, but yeah, so able to close him. And then just after that, I've been booking around 3 to 5 sales calls a week, like at least, but some of the days it's like 6, 7 in a week. And then just like it's just cool just seeing like actual sales meetings in my calendar for once, instead of just like not having any sales calls and just not even being able to pitch my service to them. And then but like the biggest thing though too is that like I'm sure like as most people are aware that short form content agencies have become really saturated in the market. And so that was one thing I was just really struggling with, because I understood what my service was, but I just didn't understand how to position and angle my service amongst all these other competitors, especially with people that are just like really, really, really big, large agencies that have just like hundreds and hundreds
Right.
and hundreds of case studies. It's like, it's sort of hard to convince someone through cold email who barely even knows who you are just to book a sales call with you. But your guys' script writing and list building and just campaign management inbox has just allowed me to actually stand out from these individuals and to just position and angle my offer that's in a very saturated market in a way that like makes me almost like a one of one in my industry, which is like really cool, because like prior to that, like it was just like I was just outreaching to people who probably been pitched the exact same service 100 different times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and I'm happy to hear that. And for those who aren't aware of, me, my partner Troy, and BuzzLead as a whole, like a big thing, a big aspect of what we do is like we really want to understand what your offer is. And when I say offer, like we need to figure out a way that we could differentiate yourselves in a very competitive market. So people who aren't necessarily sure who to go after or how to craft their scripts or come up with a compelling message that resonates with that audience, that's really that's a big piece of what we do before we even get started. We figure out, what are you trying to sell? Who are you trying to reach? And then we come up with a compelling message that really resonates with that audience. And that's exactly what we did here with James and Strat-Media. And it's exciting to see that we're having the volume we've had so far just over the past 2 months. Cold email itself is really a compounding game where you really need a 90-day commitment in order to see success. So seeing, a business like yours thriving in these early days, it's exciting because who knows where we're going to help you scale, in the months to come. And the last question here, and I hope it's not all too redundant, but, just how would you rate like your overall experience in terms of, working with me, Troy, and the BuzzLead team so far?
Yeah. So like I'd give it 11 out of 10. Like it's been amazing just because like aside from you, just like everything that I just like went over, the fact that we're able to write better scripts, we're able to actually create a call to action that incentivizes people to book a sales call with me, and just able to actually get my emails read and responded to is obviously a game changer. But another thing too, though, is that like what you guys have helped me understand is like is the reply rate higher? Why did this script perform better than this one? Why is this campaign doing better than the previous one? Which is really like important, just because like it's one thing to just like do it for me and just like provide me with results, but allowing me to see the process and the iterative changes in what makes these cold email campaigns more successful has been just an absolute game changer. And that really just helps me translate to other aspects of outreach. Like, for example, whether that's through cold DMing, or if I'm just like trying to talk to an individual that like was inbounded to me, that's not necessarily through your guys' services, but I'm able to instill that strategy that you guys have provided me for in terms of cold email and cold outreach as a whole into other aspects. And just like, it's just huge. Like there are so many times where I'll message Nick, for example, just like wanting to respond to somebody that like saw one of my own short form video content. And even though like his service entails cold email outreach, you've been able to just like help me out with response handling in terms of cold DMs. And so it's just been like absolutely phenomenal, because like it just makes me, I feel like, as an entrepreneur and just like as a business owner, it just makes me have an overall more holistic, fundamental understanding of marketing, sales, and outreach as a whole. But it's just been phenomenal, and can't wait to see the results that continue from just like our successful campaigns and work together.
Yeah, well, thank you for the kind words, James. I honestly like love to hear that, and honestly, I'm really excited for the future and what this partnership holds for us. You know, we're just getting started. It's only been, I think, 50 days, 55 days, just shy of 2 months. So we'll see where we can scale this thing. But it's been a pleasure working with you, and thanks for joining us for this call. And for anybody out there that is listening to this video, if you need help with short form content, long form content, building your personal brand, James is your go-to. And then if you need help putting together a lead generation strategy so you can start booking meetings consistently and have a predictable lead flow, then I'm your guy. Go check out our website at buzzlead.io and book a strategy call in, and we'll see if we can help. So thanks, everyone. See you all next time. And James, I'll talk to you soon.
That was great. Thanks so much, Nick.